Have you been feeling an inexplicable stirring in your spirit lately, as if something monumental is about to shift in your life? Have you noticed that your sensitivity to spiritual matters has intensified dramatically over the past few months? Have you been experiencing dreams, visions, or sudden downloads of understanding that seem to come from beyond your natural comprehension? Have you found yourself drawn to messages like this one, searching for confirmation of something you can feel building in the atmosphere, but can't quite put into words? What if I told you that these aren't random spiritual experiences, but actually divine confirmations that you are among the marked ones who are destined to rise in 2025? What if everything you've been sensing, feeling, and experiencing has been heaven's way of preparing you for the most significant year of your entire life? Can you feel it in your bones? That deep knowing that something extraordinary is approaching, something that will forever change the trajectory of your existence. That restless energy that won't let you stay comfortable in your current circumstances. That divine dissatisfaction that keeps pushing you towards something greater than anything you've ever imagined. You're not losing your mind, chosen one. You're not being overly spiritual or reading too much into coincidences. What you're experiencing is the activation of spiritual markers that have been dormant within you, waiting for this precise moment in prophetic history to be awakened and revealed. Before we dive deeper into this life-altering revelation, I need you to comment 777 below as a declaration that you recognize yourself as one of the marked ones who will rise in 2025. This isn't just a number. It's a spiritual frequency that aligns you with the divine plan that's unfolding for your life. And to those beautiful souls who have supported this ministry through super thanks, your generosity has positioned you at the forefront of this rising, because those who sow into God's kingdom during preparation seasons reap abundantly during manifestation seasons. The year 2025 is not just another year on the calendar, chosen one. It's a prophetic milestone that has been marked in heaven's timeline for generations. It represents the convergence of spiritual cycles, the alignment of divine purposes, and the manifestation of promises that have been building in the spiritual realm for decades. This is the year when those who have been hidden will be revealed, when those who have been prepared will be positioned, and when those who have been marked by heaven will rise into the fullness of their destiny. But what does it mean to be marked? What are these spiritual indicators that set certain individuals apart from the masses? How do you know if you carry the marks that qualify you for this unprecedented rising that's about to take place? The marks I'm referring to aren't physical tattoos or visible signs that others can see. They're spiritual imprints, divine encodings, supernatural signatures that have been placed upon your soul by the hand of God Himself. The first mark is an insatiable hunger for truth that goes beyond surface-level information or religious platitudes. You've never been satisfied with shallow answers to deep questions. You've always felt compelled to dig deeper, to understand not just what is happening, but why it's happening and what it means in the larger context of God's eternal purposes. This hunger isn't intellectual curiosity, it's spiritual discernment that enables you to separate truth from deception, authentic from counterfeit, eternal from temporal. Have you found yourself questioning systems, structures, and traditions that others accept without examination? Have you felt uncomfortable with religious practices that seem to focus more on performance than on genuine relationship with God? Have you been drawn to study Scripture for yourself rather than simply accepting what others tell you it means? This isn't rebellion, it's the mark of one who has been chosen to carry and dispense truth in a generation that has been deceived by lies dressed up as light. The second mark is an unusual level of spiritual sensitivity that often makes you feel like you're operating on a different frequency than most people around you. You sense spiritual atmospheres before anyone speaks a word. You can discern people's true intentions beneath their carefully crafted facades. You feel the spiritual climate of rooms, regions, and relationships in ways that others dismiss as imagination, but you know are absolutely real. This sensitivity extends to your dream life, your prayer life, and your daily interactions with the world around you. You receive information through channels that bypass natural reasoning. You know things you have no logical way of knowing. You see patterns and connections that others miss completely. This isn't psychic ability or New Age mysticism. It's divine revelation operating through a vessel that has been calibrated to receive heaven's broadcasts. The third mark is a history of supernatural preservation through circumstances that should have destroyed you. You've walked through fires that consumed others. You've survived storms that shipwrecked people with more resources and support than you had. You've endured betrayals, attacks, and setbacks that would have permanently sidelined someone without divine protection. Yet here you stand, not just intact, but stronger, wiser, and more determined than ever. This preservation wasn't luck or coincidence. It was evidence that heaven has a plan for your life that required you to remain standing when others fell. Every attack you survived, every obstacle you overcame, every valley you walked through was actually preparation for the mountain you're about to climb. You were preserved because you were reserved for such a time as this. The fourth mark is an innate understanding that you were born for influence, not just survival. Even during your darkest seasons, even when circumstances suggested otherwise, you've carried a deep knowing that your life has significance beyond your immediate circumstances. You've felt called to impact, to lead, to shape outcomes, rather than simply endure them. This isn't pride or ego, it's divine programming that recognizes itself even when external conditions don't yet reflect internal reality. You've never been content with ordinary jobs, mediocre relationships, or surface-level conversations because your spirit recognizes that you were designed for extraordinary purpose. You've felt restless in environments that others find comfortable because those environments weren't built to contain someone with your calling. You've often felt like you were waiting for something without knowing exactly what you were waiting for. The fifth mark is an ability to see potential where others see problems, to envision solutions where others see impossibilities, to maintain hope where others surrender to despair. This isn't positive thinking or wishful imagination. It's prophetic vision that sees with heaven's perspective rather than earth's limitations. You look at broken situations and see redemption possibilities. You observe struggling people and see their destiny rather than their dysfunction. This vision often puts you at odds with those who are comfortable with status quo, who have accepted limitation as permanent, who view change as threatening rather than promising. Your ability to see beyond current circumstances to future possibilities is actually a mark of someone who has been chosen to help bring those possibilities into manifestation. Now, if you recognize yourself in these descriptions, if these marks resonate with your personal experience, if you feel a confirmation in your spirit that you are indeed among the marked ones, then you need to understand the significance of what's approaching in 2025. This isn't just another year of incremental progress or gradual improvement. This is the year of sudden acceleration, supernatural elevation, and divine manifestation for those who carry heaven's marks. Why 2025? What makes this year so special in God's prophetic calendar? The number 25 represents grace multiplied by grace, favor upon favor, blessing stacked upon blessing. In biblical numerology, it signifies the fullness of God's goodness being poured out upon His people. But 2025 carries additional significance because it represents the completion of preparation cycles and the beginning of manifestation seasons for an entire generation of marked ones. Consider this: if you were born in 1975, you turned 50 in 2025, entering the biblical season of Jubilee and restoration. If you were born in 1985, you turn 40, the biblical number of completion and new beginnings. If you were born in 1995, you turn 30, the age when Jesus began his public ministry and when many biblical figures stepped into their primary calling. These aren't coincidences, they're divine alignments that confirm 2025 as a year of unprecedented rising for the marked ones. But it's not just about age or birth years. 2025 represents the culmination of spiritual and natural cycles that have been building for decades. Global systems are shifting, spiritual awakenings are accelerating, and divine justice is beginning to manifest in ways that will reshape the landscape of power and influence across every sphere of society. The marked ones are about to be positioned in places of authority, influence, and impact that will enable them to guide humanity through the transitions that are coming. Think about Joseph, who was marked from birth with dreams that seemed impossible but were actually divine blueprints. He endured years of preparation through slavery, false accusation, and imprisonment before suddenly being elevated to the second highest position in Egypt. His rising wasn't gradual, it was instantaneous. One day he was a forgotten prisoner, the next day he was running the most powerful empire on earth. That's the kind of sudden elevation that awaits the marked ones in 2025. Consider Esther, who was marked for royalty long before she understood her destiny. She went through months of preparation, beauty treatments, and training before being revealed as queen. But her ultimate purpose wasn't just to wear a crown, it was to save her people from destruction. She was marked not just for position but for purpose, not just for blessing but for being a blessing. The marked ones rising in 2025 will follow a similar pattern. Even in modern history, we see this principle at work. Winston Churchill was marked for leadership long before World War II required his specific gifts. He endured decades of political setbacks, personal struggles, and public criticism before suddenly being thrust into the role that defined his legacy and changed the course of history. His preparation wasn't pleasant, but it was essential for the assignment that was waiting for him. The marked ones rising in 2025 have been through their own preparation processes. You've endured seasons of obscurity, testing, refinement, and development that have felt endless at times. You've wondered if God had forgotten about you, if your dreams were just fantasies, if your sense of calling was just ego disguised as spirituality. But every day of preparation has been purposeful, every test has been necessary, every delay has been divine timing, ensuring that you would be ready when your moment arrived. But readiness isn't just about having the right character or skills, though those are certainly important. Readiness for this level of rising requires spiritual capacity that can only be developed through intimate relationship with God. The marked ones who rise in 2025 won't just have natural talents or learned abilities. They'll carry supernatural authority that flows from deep communion with heaven. This is why your prayer life has been intensifying lately. This is why you've felt drawn to spend more time in worship, meditation, and study of God's Word. This is why certain scriptures have been leaping off the pages with relevance and revelation. Heaven has been preparing you for levels of spiritual authority that will require constant connection to the source of all power and wisdom. The enemy knows what's coming in 2025, which is why the attacks against marked ones have been so intense lately. He's been trying to wear you down, discourage your faith, and convince you to give up just before your breakthrough arrives. He's been whispering lies about your worthiness, your calling, your timing, and your potential, because he knows that once you rise into your full authority, you'll become a major threat to his kingdom of darkness. But his attacks have actually confirmed your identity rather than destroying it. Every weapon formed against you has failed. Every trap set for your destruction has become a platform for your promotion. Every season meant to break you has made you stronger. Every attack has actually been evidence that you carry something valuable enough to fight against, something powerful enough to threaten the status quo, something significant enough to warrant hell's attention. The marked ones rising in 2025 will not rise quietly or invisibly. This elevation will be evident, undeniable, and supernatural in its scope and speed. Doors that have been locked for years will suddenly swing open. Opportunities that seemed impossible will present themselves with perfect timing. Resources that were beyond reach will flow toward you effortlessly. Connections that could never be manufactured will be divinely orchestrated. But this rising isn't just about personal advancement or individual success. The marked ones are being elevated for kingdom purposes, to advance God's agenda on earth, to demonstrate His power to a generation that has forgotten His goodness. Your promotion will create platforms for proclamation. Your increase will fund kingdom initiatives. Your influence will shape spiritual atmospheres. This means your rising comes with responsibility as well as privilege. You'll be accountable for how you steward the authority, resources, and opportunities that are about to be entrusted to you. The same God who elevates can demote. The same heaven that opens doors can close them. The same grace that lifts up can set down if it's not honored and appreciated appropriately. The marked ones understand this instinctively. They don't seek elevation for selfish purposes, but because they recognize that their rising enables them to serve at higher levels. They don't pursue influence for personal aggrandizement, but because they understand that influence is a tool for impact. They don't chase resources for individual accumulation, but because they know that resources are meant to be deployed for kingdom advancement. As 2025 approaches, you need to begin preparing for levels of blessing, responsibility, and influence that exceed anything you've experienced before. This preparation isn't just spiritual, though that's certainly the foundation. You need to prepare practically, emotionally, relationally, and financially for the shifts that are coming. Practically, this means developing the skills, knowledge, and competencies you'll need to function effectively at higher levels. God rarely elevates people to positions they're completely unprepared for, but He often elevates them before they feel completely ready. The key is to be developing yourself continuously so that when opportunities arise, you can step into them with confidence rather than hesitation. Emotionally, this means dealing with any inner issues that could sabotage your success or limit your impact. Unresolved trauma, unchecked pride, unhealed wounds, or unaddressed fears can all create internal barriers to external elevation. The marked ones rising in 2025 have been dealing with these issues during their preparation seasons, so they can rise with stability rather than instability. Relationally, this means evaluating your connections and associations to ensure they align with where you're going rather than where you've been. Some relationships will need to be released, others will need to be deepened, and new ones will need to be cultivated. Rising often requires relationship transitions that can be difficult, but are necessary for continued growth. Financially, this means preparing to handle resources responsibly and strategically. The marked ones rising in 2025 will be entrusted with financial authority that requires wisdom, discernment, and integrity. This isn't just about earning more money, it's about understanding how to deploy resources for maximum kingdom impact. But perhaps the most important preparation is maintaining your connection to God as your circumstances change dramatically. Success can be more spiritually dangerous than failure because it can create the illusion of self-sufficiency. The marked ones who sustain their elevation will be those who remember that their promotion came from heaven and can only be maintained through continued dependence on divine grace. This is why the number 777 that I asked you to comment isn't just a random spiritual symbol. In biblical numerology, 7 represents completion, perfection, and divine rest. When tripled, it emphasizes the perfect completion of God's work in your life. By commenting 777, you're declaring that you recognize God's perfect timing in your life and that you're ready to step into the completion of what He's been building in you. The signs that confirm you're among the marked ones aren't limited to internal experiences. There are external indicators as well that validate what you're sensing in your spirit. Have you noticed that people are responding to you differently lately, treating you with a level of respect or deference that seems disproportionate to your current position? Have opportunities been presenting themselves in ways that seem orchestrated rather than coincidental? Have resources been appearing just when you need them, often from unexpected sources? These external confirmations are evidence that your spiritual elevation is beginning to manifest in natural circumstances. The favor that has been building in the spiritual realm is starting to break through into visible reality. What you've been carrying internally is starting to be recognized externally. The authority that God placed in you is starting to be acknowledged by others, even if they don't understand why they're responding to you differently. Another sign is the acceleration of answered prayers in your life. Requests you've been making for years are suddenly manifesting with lightning speed. Dreams that seemed impossible are starting to show signs of coming to pass. Doors that were firmly shut are beginning to crack open. This acceleration is evidence that you've entered a new season where heaven's timing aligns with Earth's possibilities in unprecedented ways. You may also notice that your words carry more weight than they used to. When you speak, people listen more intently. When you pray, things shift more quickly. When you declare God's promises, they manifest more readily. This isn't because you've learned new techniques or formulas, it's because your spiritual authority has been activated and your words now carry the weight of heaven's backing. The marked ones rising in 2025 will also experience supernatural protection and provision that defies natural explanation. You'll walk through situations that should have destroyed you and emerge not just unharmed, but strengthened. You'll face challenges that should have bankrupted you and find resources appearing from sources you never anticipated. This protection and provision isn't random luck. It's divine insurance for people who carry divine assignments. As this year unfolds, you'll begin to see the bigger picture of why your journey has been so unique, so challenging, and so seemingly isolated at times. You'll understand why certain doors were closed, why certain relationships ended, why certain opportunities were delayed. Every apparent setback will be revealed as a setup for something greater than you could have imagined. The marked ones don't rise in isolation. They rise as part of a movement. As you begin to step into your elevation, you'll start connecting with others who are experiencing similar shifts. These aren't just networking opportunities or casual friendships. These are kingdom alliances that will amplify your individual impact through collective action. The rising of the marked ones in 2025 will create a synergy that multiplies effectiveness exponentially. But with great elevation comes great opposition. As you rise, you'll face resistance from systems, structures, and people who benefit from the status quo. Your very existence will challenge their assumptions about how things work, who deserves to lead, and what's possible for people like you. This opposition isn't evidence that you're on the wrong path. It's confirmation that you're on the right one. The key to navigating this opposition is understanding that your battles aren't against flesh and blood, but against spiritual principalities and powers that operate through human agents. This means your weapons aren't natural but spiritual. Prayer, worship, declaration of God's word, and faith that refuses to be shaken by temporary setbacks or apparent defeats. Remember that every great move of God throughout history has faced opposition from those who preferred the comfort of familiar dysfunction to the challenge of divine transformation. Moses faced resistance from Pharaoh. David faced opposition from Saul. Jesus faced rejection from religious leaders. Paul faced persecution from both Jews and Gentiles. Opposition is actually evidence that you're carrying something valuable enough to fight against. As we approach the conclusion of this prophetic word, I want you to understand that recognizing yourself as one of the marked ones isn't about pride or superiority. It's about responsibility and stewardship. You haven't been marked because you're better than others. You've been marked because you're willing to carry what others couldn't handle, to go where others wouldn't go, to do what others wouldn't do. The marked ones understand that their elevation isn't just for their benefit, but for the benefit of everyone their lives will touch. They rise not to separate themselves from others, but to lift others up with them. They don't use their influence to create distance, but to build bridges. They don't hoard their resources, but deploy them strategically for maximum kingdom impact. This is why your rising in 2025 will create ripple effects that extend far beyond your immediate sphere of influence. Lives will be changed because you had the courage to step into your calling. Destinies will be activated because you provided an example of what's possible. Strongholds will be broken because you brought light into places of darkness. Generations will be blessed because you were faithful to your assignment in this season. To those who have been faithful supporters of this ministry through Super Thanks, your generosity has positioned you to be among the first to experience this unprecedented rising. The seeds you've sown into God's kingdom are about to produce a harvest that will astound you. Your faithfulness during seasons of preparation has qualified you for abundance during seasons of manifestation. If this message has stirred something deep in your spirit, if you recognize yourself as one of the marked ones who will rise in 2025, if you're ready to step into the fullness of everything God has prepared for you, then take a moment to declare your readiness. Comment 777 below as a spiritual declaration that you're positioning yourself for divine elevation. Like this video to help spread this urgent message to other marked ones who need to hear it. Subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any of the revelations and instructions that will guide you through this rising season. Share this message with others who you sense carry similar marks and are destined for similar elevation. Most importantly, begin living with the expectation that 2025 will be unlike any year you've ever experienced. Begin preparing for sudden changes, unexpected opportunities, supernatural provision, and divine connections. Begin readying yourself for levels of influence, authority, and responsibility that will require everything you've learned during your preparation seasons. The marked ones have been hidden long enough. The preparation season is concluding. The manifestation season is beginning. 2025 is your year, chosen one. This is the sign you needed, the confirmation you were waiting for, the green light you've been seeking. The marked ones will rise, and you are among them. Your time has come. Your season has arrived. Your destiny is calling. Are you ready to answer? Because heaven is ready to pour out blessings you don't have room enough to receive. The marked ones will rise in 2025, and this is the sign you needed to know that you're among them. Rise, chosen one. Rise now. Rise completely. Rise permanently. Your time is here.